Welcome to Spooky News from Spooky Ventures for April 17th, 2020. Well, we're still amidst the whole coronavirus pandemic, everything shut down situation, so I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of stuff, or are running out of stuff to do around the house, and maybe streaming movies, but we'll touch on a lot of movie streaming again, but we'll get to the news. Remember, Spooky News and really all things Spooky Ventures are supposed to be interactive, so please interact, whether that's sharing a video, liking a video, leaving comments. Let us know something you'd like to see. We do respond to requests as long as, it's for something spooky and we can actually get the rights to it. We'll see what we can do. So whatever you do, interact. If you want to see some creative and pretty clever art, check out a gentleman named Daniel Bjork from Sweden. He's doing some artwork where he reimagines horror movies as Disney books, retro Disney books, and he has the covers for them. And there's everything from Cujo to The Exorcist to Friday the 13th, and it's really pretty clever stuff, and it's funny. So have a look at that for some cool retro horror inspired fun. So I know we haven't done a lot of spooky travel bits lately. When nobody's really traveling, that doesn't really isn't very conducive to running spooky travel bits. But we're gonna do one today. Um, when things open up and you're ready to travel again, you might want to think about a trip to the Stanley Hotel in Colorado. Um, and if you want, for some paranormal travel, if you want to make a trip there, I've got an article you need to read. Came across this one, which was released this week, from Narc City or Nar City. I've never been sure how that website's supposed to be pronounced, but it's seven of the most terrifying ghostly encounters from the Shining Hotel in Colorado. So, you can't go there right now. Well, you probably could, but you're probably not traveling or not supposed to travel. I'm not sure how Colorado's locked down at the moment. But you can certainly read this article, get some thrills and some chills, and think about your trip to the Stanley Hotel. And put that on your paranormal travel list for when you can go. Well, it's kind of a safe bet if you're here, you like horror movies. But do you guys also like heavy metal? As you might know, I also do Music Street Journal, and I'm a big fan of progressive rock and heavy metal. And so Screen Rant has this cool article. You really need to check this thing out if you like both heavy metal and horror movies. It's a great article about the use of heavy metal in horror movies, including metal artists appearing in horror movies and metal music, and it's a very, very good article. So I'll share that. Be sure to check it out. I don't know that I've seen an article like it before. I was pretty impressed with it. Have you guys started watching Quibi yet? Apparently, it just launched on April 6th, and it's specifically a streaming platform. I believe it's all short videos. But there's a new series coming to it. They do a lot of series, and it's called The Stranger. And there's a new trailer that looks pretty creepy. So I've added it to our trailers. The day this goes live, I'll also put it on our main page. But have a look at that. Horror fans probably know Hilary Heath for her work in the 60s and 70s and several movies opposite Vincent Price. She was in Witchfinder General, The Oblong Box, and Cry of the Banshee. And she passed away this last week at 74 years old from coronavirus. So, rest in peace. You will be missed, but your legend lives on in the movies you did. As I said, we're looking at a lot of streaming stuff, and there's a new article from Insider.com, which is more of a list. You guys know I love lists. And it's the best paranormal horror movies to watch on Netflix. They've included everything from The Ritual to The Ring and The Witch. Now, I'm not one of the big fans of The Witch. I thought it was a bit slow and kind of a lot to get through for not a huge payoff. But and don't get me wrong, the payoff's pretty good. But a lot of people really like the movie, so your mileage may vary. But I would have a look at the list, see what you want to stream. There's even some Spanish language stuff on there, so have a look. I've talked quite a bit about how New Mutants is going to be sort of one of the earliest superhero horror movies coming from Marvel, from the Marvel Universe. Well, there is a new collection of fan posters that showcase New Mutants done as old school horror movies like Friday the 13th and stuff. They've basically taken the original posters and altered them to New Mutants. It's kind of cool. So I'll share that with you guys so you can have a look and see those. I'm kind of pleased that the movie In the Mouth of Madness, which is actually one of my favorite John Carpenter movies, and I'm a huge John Carpenter fan, so that says a lot. but it's suddenly starting to get a lot of attention and a lot of love from a lot of people online. I mean, I've been talking about it quite a bit lately because it keeps showing up in these lists, and it's just shown up in a new list from Screen Rant, I believe. Yeah, Screen Rant of 10 obscure horror movies to watch on Amazon Prime. There's also Train to Busan, The Changeling, which I've seen and really like that one too. But I'm just happy to see The Mouth of Madness keep showing up in these lists. And if you want to see it, you know now that you can find it on Amazon Prime. And also, there are 9 more movies. Well, I've mentioned 3, so you figure 7 more movies in this list. So have a look at the list. Maybe you'll find some other cool, obscure stuff to watch. Are you a fan of the movie People Under the Stairs? Do you have an extra $2.5 million sitting around? If you can answer yes to both of those, maybe you can buy the house that was used in the movie. It just went on the market, and that's the price tag, 2.5 million. It's in Los Angeles, so have a look around. They've got the article has some pictures and of the inside and the outside. And, if you had the money to spend, it looks like a beautiful house. Slashfilm.com has a handy list for right now that just came out. It's called 50 horror films to stream during quarantine or something like that. Yeah, to 50 great streaming horror movies to get you through quarantine. Anyway, I'm not going to go over all 50 by any means. A few names, a few titles jumped out. I made the brilliant Cloverfield, Night of the Living Dead, of course. And a couple I've been wanting to see, Ginger Snaps and Dog Soldiers. But, like I say, you got 50 of them in here. Some of these are pretty obscure in that I've never heard of them before, or very barely heard of them before. So have a look at the list. Maybe you'll find some stuff you haven't seen on there. It tells you where to stream them, and you can, kill some time watching some more good movies. The Invisible Man movie certainly suffered from bad timing in that shortly after it was released, all the theaters shut down from the pandemic. But they put it out to stream for rental as a new test idea, which I talked about a bit when they did that. I think it's actually a really good idea to release movies to rent on home video when they're in the theaters. But in any event, it's finally coming. Well, I don't know about finally, it's actually coming pretty quickly, but it's coming to home video, DVD, and Blu ray. If you're like me, I like to own the Blu ray, DVD, whatever, one of the discs, and be able to watch it when I want and not rely on streaming services for it. So you'll finally be able to get that. It's shown up with a release date of May 26th for pre-order on Amazon.com. So that must mean that's when it's coming out. Um, you know, I wish it had come out under better circumstances. I think this could have been a massive hit. I think it did pretty well anyway, despite everything else. But we'll see. Hopefully it does really well in home video disc release. And that's a wrap for this week's edition of Spooky News. Be sure to tune in next week for more. Spooky Ventures is the home for spooky content and spooky merchandise on the web. Check it out today at spookyventures.com. And remember, always keep it spooky.